You are not allowed to use marijuana while you're on probation. It's just, you can't do it. If you were revoked, you're looking at 2 years at the state jail facility, potentially. So the question for you is, do I want to potentially go to the state jail facility for 2 years over marijuana? Is marijuana that important to me?
No, it's not.
You're acting like it is. And so what I can tell you is, I received this supplemental report, and you know what 3 choices they gave me? They said, do you want to extend this case for 6 months? Or do you want to terminate this case, which means you're done with probation? All right. How are you doing?
Better.
Better?
I've been better.
All right. So I received a report where they're requesting early termination for you, potentially, or either to extend your case. So you know what I always ask everybody, because you're here for a drug case. If you give a UA today, what are the results going to be?
I will be honest, I will still come out positive.
All right.
Last UA submitted, Your Honor, if I may, I apologize for interrupting. It was on the 28th. And it was positive for marijuana.
All right. So this is where we are. You are not allowed to use marijuana while you're on probation. It's just, you can't do it. So you have a choice to make. What you're on probation for is a state jail felony. And let me see here. You're on deferred adjudication. So if you were revoked, you're looking at 2 years at the state jail facility, potentially. So the question for you is, do I want to potentially go to the state jail facility for 2 years over marijuana? Is marijuana that important to me?
No, it's not.
You're acting like it is. And so what I can tell you is, I received this supplemental report, and you know what 3 choices they gave me? They said, do you want to extend this case for 6 months? Or do you want to terminate this case, which means you're done with probation? If you would have came into this court negative, I probably would have agreed that you could be off probation, but you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You've taken the classes, but you're not internalizing anything. It appears that your go-to is, let me use marijuana. I had a good day. Let me use marijuana. I had a bad day. Let me use marijuana. I had friends in college, and you know what they would tell me? They would say, oh my gosh, the air is so crisp and cool. This reminds me of great days. I'm like, what great days? They're like sitting on the balcony at the apartment smoking marijuana. I never smoked marijuana, but they tell me that there are some good memories sometimes that people have associated with that. You are making bad memories by using marijuana. And you will continue to be extended, or maybe a motion to revoke is going to be filed on you for using marijuana. When you're on probation, you're not allowed to use marijuana. You're not allowed to drink alcohol. Those are the rules. Those are the rules of Texas. You go in any courtroom in Texas, and guess what? You can't use marijuana. You can't drink alcohol. Do you have children? How many?
2,
What are their ages?
11 and 12.
They know their mom uses marijuana. Because I guarantee you, your clothes smell like marijuana. If you've ever hugged your child, they're smelling marijuana. They don't want to deal with that. They don't want to have the mother who's smoking marijuana. And if you have a boyfriend in your life who thinks it's great for you to be smoking marijuana and you're smoking marijuana with him, you need to cut him loose. You know why? He doesn't care for you. Because if he cared for you, he would tell you, baby, you can't be smoking marijuana because you could potentially go to the state jail facility for 2 years. And Vashon will tell you, I've sent women to prison, women to the state jail facility, men to prison, men to the state jail facility. Because we can only do so much. And after that, we'll move on to the next case. Do you understand? So guess what's going to happen today?
Getting extended.
Yes, you are. And you know what comes with that? More reporting, more fees, all of that's going to pile up on you. And you know whose fault it is that you're getting extended?
Mine.
Yes.
Mhm.
So the next time you think about smoking marijuana, you need to ask yourself, do I want my probation extended? Do I want to go to the state jail facility for up to 2 years? If your answer is yes, then you go ahead and you smoke your marijuana. And guess what's going to end up happening? Your children will not be with you potentially for 2 years. And in that 2 years' time, anything can happen because I don't care what anybody says. Good mothers, nobody loves a child like their mother if it's a good mother. If it's a bad mother, then you can't say that. Do you understand?
Mhm.
Be a good mother to your children. All right, we're going to extend her and I'm going to want her tested for levels. And if those levels do not start to drop, file a motion to revoke. And I will hear your case. Maybe you'll be brought over dressed in blue. Maybe you'll bond out, but I will hear your case if those levels go up. Do you understand?
Mhm.
So how often are you using marijuana? Is it every day?
No,
When?
when I do have bad days,
All right. And why are you having bad days?
who doesn't?
Is it like
Life.
life?
Yes, it's hard being a mother, a daughter, a sister, a girlfriend, a cosmetologist, a felon. It's a lot. I make sure everybody's good. Nobody makes sure I'm good. I try
Oh.
to talk to my PO. My PO tells me she doesn't get paid enough to hear it. Like,
Oh, no. Let's not start with that because let me just tell you something in this court. I do not allow people to speak badly of other people when they're not here.
Okay.
And I know that I've told you what I tell everybody else who comes in this courtroom. If you have an issue with probation and they're not addressing it, you can always come in because we're always here, Monday through Friday. And you can always come in and address it with Miss Abrams or come in and address it with me. And if you feel like Miss Abrams is not hearing you, I will hear you. But I can tell you right now, she always hears people.
Mhm.
So don't come in here saying probation is saying, I don't get paid enough for this. And honestly, they don't get paid enough. But probation officers from the 187th, they don't say that because they know that my key thing in court is everybody needs to be kind to each other. Even if you fake it, you better fake it with an Oscar-winning performance that you care and that you're kind, because everybody has bad days.
Mhm.
So what are your issues? Why are you using? You say you have bad days, your boyfriend not listening to you. Well, if your boyfriend is not listening to you and he's a part of the problem, then you need to ask yourself, do I need this boyfriend in my life?
Yeah.
Because if they're not bringing anything positive to the equation, you know what that means? They don't love you. You're just a stop along the way.
Mhm.
I know you're probably not listening to me,
No, I am.
but that means that there's certain people that you need to cut out of your life. And sometimes the worst people in your life is family. And sometimes you got to cut family out of your life. People always say, you don't choose your family, you choose your friends. Well, you're choosing bad people.
Yeah.
So, and then if there are family members who are not any good to you, once you evaluate it without the cloud of marijuana, then maybe they need to be cut loose.
Mhm.
There's no harm in cutting family loose. You send them a card at birthdays, Christmas, and Thanksgiving, and the holidays, and call it a day. So what else is going on? Is there some mental issue that we need to discuss?
Yeah.
All right, you can't use marijuana. What are you suggesting?
Your Honor, we have listed the relapse prevention stay and quit program,
Okay.
and I think that would suffice.
All right, we're going to extend 6 months, amend conditions to the relapse prevention program, stay and quit program.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to want her tested for levels.
Yes, Your Honor.
And is there anybody she can talk to when she has issues? Me, if something comes up in my life, I can always pick up the phone and call my mom and say, this is what's going on. I have the support system. Do you have anybody that supports you and looks after you? Is that a no?
No.
All right. So is there any,
I'll talk to her.
all right. So she's going to find out if there's some support group you can get involved with. There are always support groups out there, even if it's you in a book club or something. There's always people you can talk to, because book club stuff sometimes spills over into life. And you probably need to get involved in a group. It could be a travel group. It could be a book club group. And at some point in time, you're going to meet somebody and they're going to be your friend. And that friendship will go outside the book club. And it may be somebody you can talk to with different issues. You understand? All right. So do not come back here. Chest and Paul, good morning.
We have like another box, and it's something that I think we're gonna have to meet up and actually look over. Because I have I think 6 or 7 boxes right now.
There are literally thousands of letters that I think I have an obligation, due diligence to read. I'm about halfway through what we've got now. I think they have another box that they're gonna give us.
So we're asking for another discovery compliance.
All right.
Setting, Your Honor.
All right. I will give you all another discovery compliance. I know this is an old case, but this case did not originate in the 187 District Court. So when this case was on the docket in 2019, it was not here. So this case only came here in 2023, and that's May of 2023. So I don't know what the other court was doing, but I'm trying to make sure, Mr. McIntyre, that your attorney has all the discovery, and both your attorney and the state have had a chance to review that, because whoever the prosecutors were on your case in the other court, this is a different prosecutor. So they have the boxes to go through. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So how much time are you all asking for?
I think
Ask for the moon and maybe you'll catch some stars. Is that the way it
February, yeah.
goes?
by the way, I think the important places to look for important answers are the Bible and country and Western music. I'm better
Oh.
at country and Western music. How
Oh,
about
I love
February?
all music.
Me too, actually.
Country and Western music, though, sometimes it's so sad. There's a song where the guy is singing, and I love the song, but it's so sad, where he's driving. He says, "That's my house, that's my dog, that's my
car."
wife, but that's not my truck."
I think you're talking about, I think you're talking about Ray Foods.
Yeah.
He does sound like
That's
a
true.
country Western.
So with regards to discovery, I will give you all 60 days. I normally don't do that. Is that enough time for everyone?
I will hope so, Your Honor.
We hope so.
That's speaking of country, no. I think that should be enough, Your Honor. But I'll be honest, this is a case I'm hoping we can work out.
All right.
There are a lot of moving parts that are beyond anyone's control in this courtroom that need to be resolved, but I do think we can work something out.
All
So
right.
that's fine.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, on this case, if I can have a 60-day reset for discovery.
I think it's December 7th.
That puts us at December 7th.
It'll be February, but December 7th will be fine.
Well, you know what? We'll see where we are in December.
Thank you.
Okay. Because I've discovered attorneys, and I include myself in that, we tend to procrastinate because you always have something, I say, on the stove that's on the front burner. Then when you have something else, you say, I'm going to put that in the freezer because I have this that's boiling on the stove. So, Mr. McIntyre, we're going to come back on December 7th to see where we are on discovery.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you have any questions about anything?
No, ma'am.
All right. Anything else that the court needs to cover?
Can I bore not on behalf of the defense, may I bore the court with country and Western?
Most definitely.
My son got in a fight in junior high school. And the sheriff called me and asked me to come out and meet with them. And my son was upset about a girlfriend.
Mhm.
And that story about the Bible and country and was something that the sheriff said, why don't you go home and talk to your son?
Mhm.
And my wife, of course, you give him some advice.
Mhm.
And he's 34 now.
Mhm.
And I said, there are only two places to look. And so I took him up to my room and I put on I think it's Garth Brooks song about he went to a high school football game and he saw his old girlfriend. Well, he was with his wife and he saw his old girlfriend. And he remembered dropping to his knees and praying to God that he could spend the rest of his life with his old girlfriend. And it was a live performance and the audience went into the refrain, thank God for unanswered prayers.
Oh, yeah, I love that song.
And me too. And I told my son, I said, look at your mama.
Mhm.
I ended up with a significant upgrade. If you just hang in there, life is gonna do you all
Oh,
right.
it's good.
Absolutely.
Yes, most definitely.
Thank you.
All right, and I'm glad you said junior high. Now people are talking about middle school. That's how old I am. It was junior high.
Well, I went to Twain, so we were in between. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you, Judge.
Do you need to speak with him anymore?
No, we're gonna, John Hunter and I are gonna go visit with him. We've already talked about that here.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Yes.
On the sentencing, we were just notified another court needs fingerprint examiner, so can we call him?
Yes, we can go right now.
Right.
All right, Mr. Wilson, if you'll take a seat next to your attorney. You're welcome.
Maybe when we get started. The shackles good. Very funny.
Oh, it's just me. I don't pay attention to shackles. The thing is, Mr. Cox, the reason why those shackles are there is because of what happened previously. What I can tell you is I don't pay attention to the shackles. My sentence is not going to be based upon the shackles. And just so you know, Mr. Wilson, I understand when people are found guilty, everybody has different reactions and emotions run high. The deputies did tell me that you apologized to them and apologized to the court. I appreciate that. I'm not going to hold that against you. But the reason why the shackles are there is because of what happened last time. And I'm not in charge of security. So if the deputies say the shackles have to remain, that's the deputies. I don't try to, I always tell my staff and everybody, stay in your lane. So I'm not a probation officer, so I'm not going to try to do LaShawn's job, although she'll tell me sometimes I try. I'm not going to do the coordinator's job because I don't coordinate. I'm not going to do the clerk's job or the deputy's job. And I think the deputies will tell you, Deputy Laura, I have never tried to do your job, have I? So I never try to do their job. All right.
I appreciate you, like.
You're welcome.
I have
No.
roots, I have flashbacks.
All right, Toby. Okay. Court is going to call. Oh, do you need your client sitting next to you or Deputy Laura?
Oh, I can move back.
Okay, whichever is easy if you want to move. Court is calling 2019 CR 4004B, State of Texas versus Santuan Wilson. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar from the state.
Defense.
Cornelius Scott's for the defendant.
All right, and are you Mr. Wilson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so this is a continuation of the trial. Mr. Wilson was found guilty in the bench trial. So now we're here for the punishment phase. Does anyone have, let me see. Let me look at the indictment. Is he a repeater?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Would you like to read the repeater allegation?
We filed a notice of enhancement. Specifically, it was for assault, bodily injury, family second. It's cause number 2011 CR 9636. It was out of Barrett County. It was a 226th district court. And the judgment date was May 29th of 2013.
All right. Would you like to read the actual enhancement allegation, and then Mr. Wilson can either plead true or not true?
And Judge, there wasn't, again, it was just a notice of enhancement that was sent to defense. And here, let me see.
All right. If
Oh, here, Judge, before the commission of the offense alleged in cause number 2019 4004B, hereinafter styled the primary offense on the 29th day of May, AD 2013, in cause number 2011 TR 9636 in the 226th District Court in Barrett County, Texas. The defendant is convicted on the felony with assault family second offense.
All right, and Mr. Wilson, how do you plead to that? True?
We stand mute to it.
All right, so since they're not answering, the court is going to take that as a not true. Are there any opening statements?
But no, Your Honor, we'll just call our witness.
Defense, any opening statements?
No, Your Honor.
All right, state, call your witness.
Your Honor, the state calls Bobby Segovia to the stand.
All right, if you'll take your seat here, please. Deputy Laura. Witness, I'm sorry.
He was.
I'm gonna be behind you to put that video on. I'm gonna be right now. Sorry.
Okay, sorry about that, Deputy Laura. All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record. Please keep your voice up so that I can hear and the court reporter can hear.
My name is Bobby Segovia.
And if you could spell the last name.
It's Segovia.
All right, state.
Mr. Segovia, who do you work for?
I work for the Barrett County Sheriff's.
And what do you do for the Barrett County Sheriff?
I'm a fingerprint examiner.
And here, if you could just wait for me to finish the question.
Oh, sorry.
It's just more for the court reporter. So, can you repeat, what do you specifically do?
We compare prints from when people come in to do the jail, and we also classify prints. We also do releases. We also do warrants, and we also verify when people come in.
And are the records of when someone's arrested and they're fingerprinted, do you guys keep those records?
Yes, sir.
And are you a custodian of record for those records?
Yes, sir.
So you're trained to actually take someone's fingerprint, correct?
Yes, sir.
And how long have you been doing that?
I'm going on about 3 years.
And have you today taken someone's fingerprints?
Yes, sir.
Sure, you was marked to State's Exhibit C. What is this?
It's a fingerprint ink card.
Okay, and who did you take, or what does that fingerprint ink card show?
Show the fingerprints I took today.
And do you see the individual whose fingerprints you took today in court?
Yes, sir.
What are they wearing?
Orange.
And can you point at them? And let the record reflect he has identified the defendant. And you also brought in something today. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
What did you bring in?
Booking sheet from records.
And what's contained on this booking sheet?
They're on the identifiers. So when the defendants come in to the jail, they print out a list of, their name, birthday, their previous, if they have a SID number through the Barrett County Sheriff or the DPS through the Texas, and they have all kinds of information on there.
And is that record maintained by the Barrett County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit D. Is this what you brought in today?
Yes, sir.
And what's on the back of this page?
Fingerprints.
And so did the fingerprints that are on the back of that page, do they match the fingerprints that you took today?
Yes, sir.
And what does that mean to you then?
They are a match.
And so the records that are contained on State's Exhibit D pertain to the person in State's Exhibit C.
That'll be overruled.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, state would move to admit or offer in states C and states D. And we'll tender to defense.
I take the witness on by that.
Yes.
Now, sir, on state's exhibit number, I guess it's C. On state's exhibit number C, I mean, not number C, letter C. The top part of that exhibit is some writing, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the information that you got, did you fill out that information yourself?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the information that you filled out on the top of this card, did it come from your own personal knowledge?
From the paperwork, sir.
Okay, so to answer my question, it doesn't come from your personal knowledge, it came from some type of paperwork, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so at this point, Judge, in terms of states C, I'm going to object initially to the information that's on the top.
All right, if I could see states exhibit C.
Judge, if you want also the states as well.
All right. Oh, wait, with regards to states exhibit C, is he just custodian?
Yes, Your Honor, that's one of the questions I asked.
Okay. All right, and what is your objection to C?
Okay, I'm gonna.
Okay,
Oh, to see
yes,
the top part of the thing, he said he got it from somewhere, it didn't say where. You fill that out based on information he got, he said from some paperwork
all right.
that hasn't been established, what person work he got it from.
I can clarify that, Judge.
All right, if you'll lay the foundation with regards to C, and then I know you haven't started on D yet. So if we can, since it's just me and this is not a jury, if I know your objection to C, he says he has more questions to ask to lay the foundation for that. If we'll then see if you can lay the foundation for C, and then Mr. Cox, I'll give you a chance to take up D.
So the information at the top of state C, where did you get that from?
For the booking sheet.
And that would be states exhibit D.
Yes, sir.
And states exhibit D, is that a record that the Bexar County Sheriff's Office maintains?
Yes, sir.
And you're a custodian of those records, correct?
Yes, sir.
So you would have the ability to verify that the information that's kept on states D is true and accurate.
Yes, sir.
And why did you write that information on state C from states D?
Because the prints match.
So it was the same person.
Yes, sir.
Really,
All right, the objection to leading will be overruled.
So establish.
All right, so Mr. Cox, if you would like to take the witness on board here. All right, and then you all can have a seat. It's just
sorry, Judge.
a bench trial.
All right, so now you said that you're the custodian of records with reference to states exhibit D, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And where is that record kept?
It's kept in central records in the Bexar County Sheriff's Office.
Okay, I mean, in a file cabinet, on a computer system, where's it kept?
It's kept in, we have, it's in the place, so we have folders that go into where we work at. So there's like a folder column with every individual that we have.
Okay, and you would go, you get a request, you'll go there and retrieve the document, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, when this document was written up, or when it was, I guess, it's like, it looks, is it a computer generated document?
Yes, sir.
Were you present when that occurred?
No, sir.
No, okay. So in terms of what it says, whether it's correct or not, whether it's the same person or not, you don't know personally where this information comes, correct?
Personally, like if I was there,
Person, you weren't there.
I was not there.
Okay. Is it fair to say that if some of this information are you able to determine whether some of this information is through some type of interview that somebody gives? Do you know?
It's basically what the officer brings them in.
Okay. But you don't know where the officer gets it from, correct?
No, sir.
Okay. So you don't know whether the subject of this document was questioned by anybody. You don't know, do you?
No, sir.
So if this information was being gathered from somebody in custody, do you have any idea of whether or not that person was given any rights or anything like that before they answered any of these questions?
No, sir.
You don't know.
No, sir.
You can't now I believe you testified that there were some prints, some type of fingerprints that were on the back of State's Exhibit D, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you testify as to whether the front part of this document where the computer information was taken during the same time that the back part where these fingerprints are taken from?
You said, could I verify?
Yeah.
That's procedure.
Well, I don't know, yeah, procedure, but you weren't there when it happened.
No, sir.
Okay. In terms of the person who actually did the fingerprinting for the prints that's on the rear of State's Exhibit D, would you be able to tell us who took the prints?
No, sir.
No. And you can't tell us even if it was done at the same time or was done 2 years later. I mean, of your own personal knowledge.
Not my personal knowledge.
You don't know. Now, there's some writing. Could I approach the witness?
Yes. And which exhibit?
Oh, I'm sorry, on the State Exhibit D, where I see circles with an ink pen like on top of that document.
So you want to know what the circles is? The JN number.
Right. But no, that writing that's on the those circles, is that your writing?
No, sir.
So that States D is a computer printout, the top of it, like it was printed out.
Yes, sir.
Correct. But the writing that I'm talking about in the circles and numbers on the top, it's fair to say that was not created at the same time, correct? The circles, the writing looked like a case number. That wasn't put on at the same time, correct?
No, sir.
So were you present when that writing was placed on that.
No, sir.
So if you're the custodian of records, and those records are kept, but you can't tell us, it's fair to say that if the writing weren't placed on at the same time, but you don't know where the writing comes from, right?
It usually comes from the deputy at the jail.
Oh, usually comes from the deputy, but not necessarily from the deputy, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I object to Texas Exhibit D. It's clear that the foundation for whatever it is, it's a lot of hearsay.
Oh, you can remain seated,
Sorry.
counsel. That's
It's-
okay.
It's a lot of what I would say would be hearsay to now write a confrontation in terms of where that information came from, under what conditions it came from, whether or not the person who gave that information, if they're claiming that it was something that my client gave them, I don't know. Was that person Miranda? Did he know what his rights were? Did he have to give the information? We don't know. I don't think that in this case, that based on the testimony of this witness, the foundation has not been laid for the introduction of State's Exhibit D.
All right, with regards to State's Exhibit number C, the court is going to overrule your objection. And State's Exhibit number C will be admitted. With regards to State's Exhibit D, may I see D, please? All right, with regards to State's Exhibit D, the court has some concerns. And the concern is, he is the custodian of record. This appears to have been printed out with fingerprints and everything on the back. But then there appears to be some writing that has been added in blue ink. So can someone address that issue with the court? And then I can make an informed decision on whether or not D is admitted. Because with regards to custodians of record and also certified documents, there shouldn't be writing in blue ink. I see there's a highlighter under the mail portion, and there's an AB at the top. So State, if you want to ask those questions of this witness, where is all of this coming from?
So on State's D. So were you aware that the DA's office requested ahead of time that the files be prepared?
Yes, sir.
And in regards to the blue ink, you weren't there whenever the files were when this writing occurred, were you? Are you aware?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, on this one, this ain't the copy. This is the original.
So this is the original copy. How can you
Well,
tell?
no, he said it's not the copy. He said it's the original.
Yeah, it's the original.
So is it a copy?
No, this is not a copy.
Okay.
So this is the original that you just received that you pulled.
It is from the folder.
Okay. And so it could have been that this was caused previous to you pulling it.
Yes, sir.
But as far as you're aware, since this is the actual original that you pulled from the actual file, as far as you're aware, this matches what's in the record
Yes, sir.
because it is the record.
Yes, sir.
All right, defense, do you have any questions?
Sure. So,
Yes.
now, officer, you testified that State's Exhibit D is the original, correct?
From the folder. Yes, sir.
You just testified to that. And you say that this information on there would be, you got that off the original file, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, there's a case number on States D, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, how long have you worked for the sheriff department? Laid the proper foundation. There were issues with reference to the document itself, and we feel that the document should be denied.
So, other than your board here, are you gonna have any other questions for this witness on cross?
Just if I can ask a couple more questions.
Sure.
When you look at the on the exhibit D, and you said that you can't testify as to, if you look at the back of that, you can't testify as to when that was placed on the document.
No, sir.
Okay. You see the red ink, there's some lines that were drawn. Can you testify to when those were placed?
When the lines were actually made?
You know, red line.
No, sir.
Okay. All right. I have no other questions, Judge, and I renew my objections.
All right. So my understanding is, and this witness will be excused. And I'll make my decision on whether or not this is admissible. There are not going to be any more questions. The only reason why I say that is because he's needed in other courts.
Okay. Yeah, and just that in my, I won't need him for anything else.
All right. So you can be excused.
Okay, thank you.
And then the court will give me a few minutes.
Yes, Your Honor.
We're gonna take a short break. Could I see the parties on Samantha? Sorry, no. Who's your client, Mr. Rivera? It's Michelle Hernandez. I know you all have been waiting, and I want to take you all up so you can go to the court if you need to.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning. Michelle, are you ready on this? Yes, Your Honor. Are we considering the motion to revoke?
Yes, Judge.
All right, the court is calling 2020 CR 4178, State of Texas versus Michelle Zavala Hernandez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state, Your Honor.
Floyd Privetta for Ms. Hernandez.
And are you Michelle Zavala Hernandez? I'm going to show you what's entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision. To review that with your attorney, please your understanding. Are you the same Michelle Zavala Hernandez, who was placed under court adjudication in 2020 CR 4178 for the offense of harassment of a public servant on September 9, 2020 for a period of 3 years? Is that you?
Yes.
All right, state.
Violated condition number 14 on or about the 20th day of July 2023 in Dare County, Texas. The defendant, Michelle Zavala Hernandez, did then and there fail to complete 100 hours of community service restitution in violation of condition number 14.
How do you plead to that, true or not true?
True.
And Your Honor, we waived, I'm sorry.
Just one moment. All right. All right. State.
Yes, Your Honor, we waived the other violations alleged in the motion.
All right. Any objections to the state's waivers?
No objection.
All right. Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 14, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition 14?
I do.
Court will find violation of condition number 14 true. Is there an agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, we're asking that you deny the motion and terminate the defendant unsatisfactory.
All right.
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. Did she provide a UA today?
Yes, Your Honor, it was negative.
Michelle, you know me so well.
I'm trying, Judge.
I like when you step outside of the lane and know me so well. All right. What have you learned by being on probation?
A lot, a lot of consequences for, you know, something that you think is nothing, and then everything has consequences. And being on this for 3 years, I'm a procrastinator. I left everything for the end, and I wish I could have done things different, but whatever. If something needs to get done, it's to get it done.
Oh, yeah. Do not procrastinate. That's not good. I say that as an attorney, we all tend to procrastinate, but no. And it feels so much better when you do it and you get it out of the way, because then you're like, okay, why was I waiting so long to do this? All right. The court then will terminate. And is this satisfactorily or unsatisfactorily?
Well, Judge, we're thinking unsatisfactorily. She's done pretty much everything except for the community service, Judge.
And Judge, she's currently employed, Judge. She's been working at Wells Fargo for 2 years, Judge. She has discharged every other requirement that the court has asked for her. And I would like for the court to take that into account, whether you want to discharge her either satisfactorily or unsatisfactory.
All right. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Michelle Hernandez Vala.
All right. And why didn't you complete the 100 hours community service?
Your Honor, if I may, I do want to point out that there was documentation provided to probation that indicated that the San Antonio Food Bank denied her request for volunteering there. It is recognized that she could have gone to other locations or, you know, spoke to her officer about potentially completing that somewhere else. However, she is enrolled in school currently. She has provided documentation that she's enrolled in school currently, and we ask possibly that the court would take that into consideration.
All right. So what are you studying at school?
Business management.
Okay.
Hey, Judge, just wanted to, she did make other, you did go to other
I did.
locations.
Ms. Dixon provided me with a list of different places that I could go to. A lot of those places were no longer doing court appointed community service. And then the last one that I did speak to asked me to get the document with my picture instead of it saying San Antonio Food Bank and their address to have their information. But once I reached out to Ms. Dixon for that is when I found out everything was being revoked. So kind of let's head.
All right. So I will terminate her satisfactorily. All right. Do not come back here anymore unless you're back here to visit and say, I'm doing great. If you obtain your degree and you want me to come to your college graduation, I will show up. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Have a good day.
All right. Thank you, you too. All right. So I believe the last thing we have on the docket is Mr. Wilson
Blinko.
and Blinko. Blinko? Who is the prosecutor on Blinko?
Mitch Garahand at that point, but I think the conviction integrity unit was involved in terms of trying to.
All right,
reprocess
so
this one.
if we can get the integrity unit down here, because my understanding from them was since the motion for new trial was granted, that they were going to dismiss.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really playing a big part in it. Right, I think
Yes.
Mr. Howard was involved.
All right, so let's see if they can come down here. We're taking care of this today. One or two things gonna happen. Either he's
Judge,
going,
as an officer of the court, I come upon some news in the last week or so that Mr. Blinko, with the assistance of this process, gained his identification. As a result, he applied for some benefits that he was due and owing, and he received them. It was a very substantial number, something in the order of 7,000. This is very hard for me to say because you and
so
I.
now he's in Costa Rica or
No,
something?
he's still in the neighborhood, but not residing where he needs to be residing. He may have veered off the track.
Okay,
And so
I understand what you're saying.
how about if I just leave it? So I reconfirmed this morning, they confirmed, they know where he's at. It's under the bridge as opposed to the place that he's paying rent for.
Mhm.